Guillermo Mash here, aka Without a Roof, welcoming you to the November 2nd edition of Peace and Social Justice Show on KZFR 90.1 FM. And we have a follow-up interview. It was in the spring, late winter-ish, that I went up to Sojourner's house on the Ridge when they were at the Lutheran Church in downtown Paradise. And I was really pleased to do a follow-up. We went up a couple of weeks ago, myself and Lisa Courier from Crisis Care Advocacy and Triage. And we visited with them in their new digs on Clark Road across from McDonald's. And you'll be hearing physically from two of the volunteers. I should say one volunteer, Ron, and the executive director, who is a paid position. Her name is Virginia Underwood. And two folks experiencing homelessness, Julia and Chad. So with no further ado, I'm really pleased to present this segment of the Peace and Social Justice Show right here on Peak Power Radio. So Ron, why do you volunteer here, and give us a little insight on what you see on a day-to-day basis?
Well, I want to help the people that are homeless benefit, by affording them food or whatever help they need at the time, and we address their issues and do the best we can to solve the problems that they have.
Now, were you involved when it was over at the Lutheran site as well?
Yes, I was.
How are you liking the new site here? How are you liking your new digs?
I like it, yes. Yes, it's fine. It's a lot roomier, and it's going real well here. We've got a lot more people.
The vibe's a lot more different, obviously, being at a home versus a church. Maybe you could give us some clarity on that.
Well, actually, it wasn't. We weren't in the church part of it. It was, but the church ran the thing pretty much for us, and it was on their facilities. And this is real good here. We're just in here recently, so we have a long ways to go yet, and figuring out where everything goes. But we have a lot more room to do things in, and it's a lot homier environment for the people that come in.
Folks that may be listening or reading this, what would you tell them about getting involved with SHOR, and why they should volunteer just like you do, Ron?
Oh, we can use all the help we can get. There's the homeless situation is pretty severe here. It's not well known, but it's going up all the time, the number of people that do come in. So it's getting more and more. It's a good thing we have the room to handle it, and the personnel, but we can always use more help.
All right, I'm here with Julia, and you had kind of introduced yourself to me when we came here as the homeless worker.
Yes.
All right, tell us a little bit more of what you do here, Julia, and how long you've been associated with SHOR.
I've been associated with SHOR since I moved into town back in December. Mm-hmm. Was looking for a job, came from Ohio, fell through, and started in Quincy, and then came down here because it got cold. Mm-hmm. And I've been here ever since, and I've been working with SHOR since then. Mm-hmm. They created an internship for me. It's basically a volunteer, but I'm homeless. I'm kind of the in-between people who are out on the street and the people who deal with the homeless. Because there's a lot of misconceptions and stuff, and I kind of open it up and say, nope, that's not what it is, and homeless, same way. So,
Were you without a home in Ohio as well when you looked at this opportunity to get a job out here in California? No, you weren't. So you had a place in Ohio?
I've worked since I was 14. I left a job of 7 years working at an international steel company. Made great money and great benefits, but a job opened up in Quincy at the hospital that I wanted really bad. So I came out here and it fell through, basically. So I found myself homeless.
I know it's a large question, but what kind of insights would you give folks around your experience of being homeless since this job fell through?
Hook up with the resources. There are many resources out there, and hook up with them. Don't be scared, don't worry about the cops and all. Just open up. Just go in and see what they can do for you, because it's better to be somewhere like here in Paradise. They have lunches and stuff all week, free lunches. A lot of people don't know about it. Mm-hmm. Just stop in and we can tell you, we show you different things. At least you're not going hungry. Mm-hmm. And we got blankets and clothes and all kind of stuff, so we can always help out. So it's just hook up with the resources that are in the area.
Anything else to add, Julia, before we close this little conversation?
Being homeless sucks. And I've never been homeless before, so this is all new learning experience to me. But it's opened my eyes, and it makes you think twice.
All right, I'm really happy to see Chad again, man. Chad's the first person I saw when I came up to SHOR when I was at the Lutheran Church, and he was outside with his bike, and he was just such a kind and worldly soul. It's just really good to see you, Chad.
Thank you for the interview. I appreciate the opportunity to talk.
Yeah, it's good to be seen as we get older, like you and I, right? It's always good to be seen.
Yes, sir, that it is. Above ground has always been preferable.
And you said you've had some changes to your living arrangement since we last talked 8 or 9 months ago. What's going on for Chad?
Yeah, well, in April I was able to get into an automobile, and it has put me light years ahead on the learning curve, as it were. It's a late model vehicle, an import, and gets good gas mileage. Yeah, I'm able to operate it on pennies a day on a fixed income, and so it's made it possible for me not only to be more mobile, but to be able to access different venues, non-profit organizations, and so on, and to move my life forward at a much quicker pace.
Plus, you got a place to put your stuff, huh?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah.
How do you like the new digs here on 6189 Clark Road?
Fact is, I would like to see SHOR get some of the $4.9 million federal HEAP, or Housing Emergency Assistance Program funds. If there are people out there who do grant writing and so on, I'd like to talk to them, because I'd like to see SHOR be able to expand. This is a good facility, no doubt about it, but they are a worthy organization, and as you well know, declaring shelter crisis, is one of those priorities to receiving those HEAP funds. And given the amount, it could be a significant number for SHOR, because they do have a physical address.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing I try to educate folks, Chad, is just, how desperate it is for all these organizations. They're overworked, underpaid, without enough money or resources to do what they really would like to do. My God, I could just throw out a number. If SHOR could get an additional $2,000 a month for 2 years, that would make a huge difference to an organization like that. What would you say to that?
Oh yeah, I'd say that's fantastic. And in fact, if you look at the monies, and simply divide those monies over 4 or 5 of the areas, Gridley, Oroville, Chico, so on, that have declared shelter crises, it could be as much as $1 million per community. That divided up by 20, could mean almost $50,000 for 20 different non-profit organizations in each and every locale, from Gridley to Oroville to Chico to Paradise and whatever.
Since you seem to follow the journalism that I've been doing, I don't know how far you go back when I started doing my Central Valley Walk for the Homeless in Sacramento, but by the time I left as a homeless person with a backpack, I said the solution for homelessness is meeting people where they're at, wherever they are in the community, in small non-profits, and nothing I have seen has changed my mind. And what would you say around that, Chad?
I'd say you're absolutely spot on. I want to mention one other thing with regard to the HEAP monies that are coming down the pipeline. They will require a census, because in order to qualify for the funds, and the amount that each community will get is dependent on the number of homeless that can be accounted for in that area.
Well, one thing I would say, I'm actually on the COC board, and so I know more about HEAP than most. But the way it works is you've got 4.9 that comes into the umbrella of the COC for the county, and then it's up to us. I mean, literally, it's up to a team of people that are going to be put together and voted on by the board of where the money goes. So it really is not. It's really, yeah, we're going to be the administrators of all of these requests that are coming in. So it won't be so much split up going. We're going to give so much to Paradise or here. It's going to be dependent on what the programs are and what the need is. So hopefully that'll make you feel better.
That's right. That's what I read in the Chico Enterprise record. I believe it was last week. There was an article either on page 2 or page 3 with respect to HEAP funding.
Any closing comments, Chad?
Thanks, Bill, for the opportunity to speak, and keep looking up. If you're homeless out there, SHOR is here. We got resources. We are concerned, and we do care about you.
All right, it's Guillermo Mash here Without a Roof, and I'm here with Virginia, the executive director, and she's going to give us a tour. Thanks for this, Virginia.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're here in the kitchen, right? What do we got?
Kitchen.
In the kitchen.
We have self-serve coffee and hot water. place for them to toast all their condiments.
Nice. It looks like a kitchen for
It
the.
does.
It looks just like a kitchen.
Fruits and
I love your computer area. You got a couple of computers set up for folks. Clothing area.
with lots of clothing, copy machine.
Right.
Awesome pantry. You have to see our pantry.
Got to see the pantry. We have Julia here working on the clothing, and this is your
This is our ginormous pantry.
ginormous pantry.
You can fit, at least 10 people in here.
You could. You've got some stuff to give away.
Yep, lots of stuff.
Nice.
We just had the Knights of Columbus dropped off 6 coats, girls and boys coats. So we have those to give out for this winter.
People that are listening, maybe how can they donate stuff to SHOR?
We are here Monday through Friday from 12 to 4, and they are welcome to drop off at any time, or they can give us a call and we can make arrangements if they can't get it to us.
6189 Clark Road. I got the right address? What's the address?
Yes, 6189.
6189.
Clark Road. And our phone number is 872-1162.
Let's continue the tour.
All right. This is our lounge area.
Yeah, it's a nice little area, connected to the dining room.
If you notice the Christmas tree,
I see a Christmas tree.
we're actually working on a project for the Festival of Trees that's happening mid-November. It's going to be auctioned off, and SHOR will get half of the proceeds for that. To put
Nice.
into our-
What's the deal with it? Give us a little more insight on that.
So every tree has to be themed, and we're going to do something around home. Not quite sure what the theme's going to be yet, but our guests are working on actual ornaments for the tree.
Nice.
So it's going to be a guest-made SHOR tree.
I like that.
Yeah, we do too. And so we have our resource round right here, so they have access to a lot of the services that are available.
And it's always kind of fun to like move the thing around. I always like these little, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like a revolving door, but there's no door, and you just kind of
Right.
I like it. That's a really nice setup. Any of the service providers you want to land on that are on here, other than obviously Sojourner's House on the Ridge? They're Paradise Local.
Well, we have the lunch program up here, which is wonderful.
Oh wow, lunch
Our
with us.
area churches provide free meals. The only day that they don't is Saturday, so 6 days a week there are free meals.
Nice.
Yes, so guests don't have to be hungry.
What do you provide for food here?
What we have is usually snack bags, so we try to provide a nutritious snack, protein, some sort of fruit, usually easy to eat foods like applesauce, that sort of thing.
Nice.
And we do have some frozen meals, so if people aren't aware of the free lunch program, we can heat something up for them, as well as we sometimes get donations from the community. So we'll make that for them as well.
All righty, Virginia.
And then we have a couple of closets that are actually guest use. So this
So this is like storage for guests?
yes.
Ah, yeah. That's like welcome to my home.
Right.
Put your stuff here in this closet. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Yeah, I mean, carrying backpacks and huge bags everywhere you go is not really feasible. So we try to give them a space to put things in that is secure and feel good
I
about
like it. I like it.
We have quite a bit being used right now, but obviously more.
There is space.
There is space. And then our
nice to have
guest
space.
bathroom. Yes,
Safe
it
spaces
is.
are good to have.
It is. We are so blessed. with
Bathroom?
this space. Wonderful large bathroom.
It is. It's nice.
Unfortunately, we can't give showers.
Steve was telling me, the
or-
board member, because of your septic system.
Correct. Yep. It's a 2-bedroom septic built in the 1960s. So it's just not really feasible. This is our community room.
Community room.
As you can see, we have a lot of donations that need to be sorted, but we're gathering blankets and warm things for the winter right now. So that's where these are being stored. But this is a room that we utilize. Like one of our guests has a CPAP machine. And so she comes in every day, and this is her space. We have a nice little fountain right here so she can
Oh, wow.
nice and calm and
Yeah.
relaxed as she does
What's a
her
CPAP
breathing.
machine?
It's a breathing machine. Normally we would use it's something that you would use at night while you're sleeping, but she does not have electricity at her home, and so she comes here and uses her machine for at least 2 hours a day.
Because she doesn't have electricity in her home.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah. She's one of our success stories. Her electricity has been turned off for 3 years. And our volunteers have been working with PG&E and HEAP and some other community organizations to get her power turned back on. And it actually just got turned on, I believe, last week.
Hey, this is a perfect opportunity, Virginia. Once again, for listeners or people reading the Homeward Street Journal, listeners at KZFR, I'm here with Virginia, Executive Director of Sojourner's House on the Ridge. I can't let go of the fact that you mentioned HEAP, because everyone's heard about HEAP, which is the Homeless Emergency Aid Program, state one-time only money. But what is HEAP as it relates to Paradise, the program that's been going here in Paradise?
So the program that I'm referring to is HEAP it's for PG&E. Customers. So it's assistance with their heating bills.
And it's called HEAP, H-E-A-P?
Yes.
Nice.
A little confusing if you're familiar with the Homeless Emergency Aid.
So we've seen everything? Is there a backyard?
Actually, there are a couple things you haven't seen.
All right. Thank you, Virginia.
This room we have a second bathroom, so this is for our staff.
Nice.
And then my office.
Virginia's office. We're going to go into Virginia's office.
And our last location, when I took over as director, we had all been crunched into one little room.
Yeah, that's when I did my interview.
So this
nice little
desk
space.
was actually in the kitchen. So there was no privacy for guests, conversations. It was pretty tight and uncomfortable. Right. So this has allowed us to kind of spread out, as you can see. People can come in, decompress, whatever they need to do.
Now, what kind of interactions do you have guest space in the executive director's office? Because you got a nice little couch here, and you've got people just come in here to get some support and some just to talk to you as like a mentor.
Correct. Okay. Yes, we do a lot of mentoring. Just helping people to, because a lot of people will come in and they're in a panic because they're about to lose their housing, and so just sit on the couch and we talk and kind of calm down and talk about the steps that are needed and how they are taking the right steps. They came to SHOR and they're actively participating in finding a home.
I can't miss the opportunity to plug John Linton's work out of Arizona. He's been doing I Have a Name for a decade, but he started this Let's Be Better Humans, and Virginia was like, "Where did you get this shirt?" So maybe tell us a little bit about how your connection with John Linton's mission out there in Arizona.
Well, I actually met John through a mutual friend, Ann Cabano, who is a videographer out in Arizona, and she's very active in the homeless community. She was actually my instructor at the Southwest Institute of Healing Arts years ago, and we really had a connection. And so she started a organization called Lovolution, and I reached out to her and we reconnected, and I became the director of outreach for her. So we were putting on all kinds of, outreach just to bring awareness to people about the issues around homelessness and, self-esteem and that sort of thing. Yeah, so that's how I met John. And
it was so interesting because I just had texted with John Linton not 90 minutes ago, getting permission to use his, Let's Be Better Humans, the original version. I call it the splattered paint version, and we're going to use that for our new organization, Butte County CAN, Community Action Network. And it was just kind of fun, finding someone that's connected in that way. And any closing comments around, the what John Linton does out there in Arizona?
Oh my gosh, he is such a beautiful human being. And anything that we can do to support his work, he is bringing awareness and understanding and compassion to the subject. And
yeah, Virginia's clutching her heart. We have a heart for you, John Linton. We love you, man. Any closing comments on this interview? And certainly we want to resurface or revisit, how people can donate and get involved.
Absolutely. They can contact us through email. Email address is shorparadise@gmail.com, and that's SHOR, SHOR. They can call us at 872-1162, or they can come to our location here on Clark Road. We're at 6189 Clark Road, right across the street from the McDonald's. anytime between 12 and 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
All right. I think that about covers it. I guess one question I hadn't asked was, what does a typical day look like from your perspective as a director? Or is there a typical day?
I would say there is no typical day. Every single day is extremely unique, and it's kind of like the saying, Forrest Gump's, life is like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're going to get. Well, every day at SHOR is like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're going to get.
Right, like I show up and Lisa Curry from Crisis Care Review Triage. That's we're the best kind of chocolates, I hope.
Absolutely.
All righty. Thanks a lot, Virginia.
Thank you, Bill.